This week we are putting in our subfloor and insulation. We're Brad and Jaz, and this is our 2015 long wheelbase Mercedes Sprinter. And this year we will be turning this empty cargo van into an off-grid luxury motorhome. Welcome back to the build. This week we are putting in our subfloor and insulation.
We were going to be doing the gas hot water system. However, we feel if we put the base in first, that'll give us a smoother surface to actually install the gas hot water system. So we're going to do this. Last night we cut up all the lengths of wood that we needed, the long bits and the short bits. So we're going to get this all tacked down, and then we'll start cutting the insulation and installing that subflooring. So let's get straight into it. What we're going to do is we're going to use liquid nails on all of these bottoms of the wood here, and we're going to tap some screws in just to hold it down. They're only going to go through the base very shortly. We'll put some rust proof underneath, and we're only going to do that on the ends. It's just going to hold it down. The liquid nails will probably do okay, but I don't want it to squeak and move around when we are on the road. So I'm just going to tack a few in. I've checked all the locations where I need to put the screws. The only ones I need to be careful of is that top end, because that's where the fuel tank is. So I'll just make sure I go either side of the fuel tank and not into the fuel tank, because that would be a big mistake. Jazzy is essentially being our holder-innerer, because we're not putting screws on this end because the fuel tank is under here and we don't want anything to go wrong. But what we've done here is strip down 15mm ply into 40mm strips. Then we have liquid nailed it to the base, and then we've screwed it down in spots where it was safe to screw down. So I think we've got about 10 to 12 screws in there total, so not many, and we will rust proof the bottom of them so they don't rust out. And then all we have to do is fill in these little bits here, put some more framing along the edges, but essentially the base frame is in and it's looking pretty good.
I'm just holding stuff down.
Okay, so this diagram is probably going to not mean a lot to anyone else apart from us, but essentially what we've done here is draw a cut list. So we've measured out all the edges and we've cut everything to size so that it all fits along these sides here. Now we're just going to glue them in and we'll be ready to start putting the insulation in. So Jazzy's drawn up a cut sheet for our insulation, and now is going to cut out the 15mm so it all fits in the van.
All right, number one is in and cut to size like that. When you pop it in there, it is tight. She's not going anywhere. And hopefully my cuts will get perfectly neat.
Measure twice, cut once, as they say.
So far, so good.
So Jaz is on cut and measure duty, 2 bits in. Essentially what we're going to do is just replicate this all the way across the van.
Okay, that's enough for me. I might just, should I go get us some nuggets?
I do like nuggets.
Okay, keep cutting, keep cutting.
Should be the last major bit. There's just a couple little bits to fill in, but she's looking pretty good. We are leaving that bit up the end there for the water closet, because we'll fill that in once we've actually got the shower in. We just don't want to box it out and then have any trouble getting it in. So that's pretty much done. We just really have to do that little bit over there.
We are back today and we're going to be creating our subfloor to go on top of our insulation. So what we have is our old subfloor with the grotty carpet on it, and we're going to be using that as a template to cut out our new clean plywood subfloor.
Okay, we almost made mistake number one, because we actually started at this end where we needed to start it at that end. Sorry about the change in light. So essentially we would have cut out the wrong part, but now we've retraced it and we're going to leave that part cut out, otherwise we would have not the right dimensions. Alright, I think we're there.
Of course, now that we've installed a gas box, we actually need to alter the subfloor to make sure it goes around our little construction. So we're just measuring out the gas box so that we can cut around that.
Okay, first bit's in and it's fitting pretty snug. Obviously we're going to tidy this up and make this all neat when we fill that out properly, but the actual floor itself fits in pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that start.
Before we actually install that top layer though, we are going to run this tape just along the edge so that our beams and our insulation are just snug together and they're not moving around while we're driving and squeaking.
We've taped up all that we can along here, all these edges, so that's going to stop the squeaking when we're driving, hopefully. That's the plan at least. Now we can chuck the 2 base floors on. We may get the 30 and I'm not 100% sure. We may need to leave it out for the water closet, but we can definitely get 2 in and start screwing them down. Alright, so we have countersunk all these screws here and it is not moving. Alright, we are 95% done on the floor. I was like 4 screws short, so I need to go to Bunnings tomorrow and pick up a couple more screws. But essentially we've got the 2 panels in that we wanted. We had to leave the front area empty again because of the shower that's coming. That's really holding us up in finishing off the floor. But we've got 2 panels in of the 12mm ply and it's quite solid. Jaz was jumping up and down on it.
Oh yeah, it's a dance floor.
I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm not taking it out again.
So thanks for coming, guys. Join us next week because we'll probably be putting in the gas hot water system.
Yes, we will.
And maybe the ending of the floor, just depending if we get the shower or not.
The water closet.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time on Brad and Jaz.